it's Alex from Strength Hacks. Today we're going to be going over the second Q&A video. It's by a loyal subscriber named Mustafa. He says, great video, coach. Can you please give us some approximate strength standards on the dumbbell bench press, the dumbbell overhead press, and the Pendlay Row for novice and intermediate lifters? So before I get into this, just so you know, it's very hard to give an approximate standard on these movements, as they're just hypertrophy movements, and I'll explain why that is later. Just realize for now that it's hard to give an exact number on these movements because some people are going to be better at reps than others. These numbers that I give here are going to be based on my experience and what I feel is the average, but they're not set in stone, and they can fluctuate 5 to 10% lower or higher depending on the lifter, their leverages, if they're male or female, and a couple other things as well. Alright, so first of all, for the dumbbell bench press, I'd say a good goal for a novice would be 60-pound dumbbells for 10 reps. For an intermediate, the 95-pound dumbbells for 10 reps. And just so you know that you don't have to do only 10 reps on these movements. That's just an example I'm giving because it's the most standard hypertrophy rep range. For the dumbbell bench press, I would say you can work anywhere in the 8 to 25 rep range. For the shoulder press, 8 to 30. And for the Pendlay rows, anywhere from about 8 reps to 20 reps would be good for that movement. And these movements are all done best with the hypertrophy rep range. They're actually dangerous to max out on. I'd say if you're going to max out, stick to the basics, or even doing heavy work. Anything lower than 8 reps is generally on the heavier side. So stick with the basics like the squat, the bench press, deadlift, barbell overhead press. Those have a lot less things that can go wrong, especially if you're working in a safe environment and you know how to max safely. With the dumbbells, there's just a lot more room for error. Especially with the dumbbell bench press, it's easy to tear your shoulder out of socket when lowering them back to the floor. They don't make racks really that you can rack your dumbbells on. I mean, they probably do, but they're not common. And then as far as form goes, make sure you're lowering the dumbbells to your chest, touching your chest with them, and then pushing all the way to lockout. The full R range of motion is the key because it's going to help you get more out of less weight, which means you have a better stimulus, which is the positive effects of training, versus the fatigue, which is the negative effects that you get from training. So having a better stimulus to fatigue ratio is going to let you get in more volume and let you actually recover from that volume, which is a win-win when you're trying to build muscle. So now on to the dumbbell overhead press. I'd say for a novice, a good goal would be 40 pounds for 10 reps. For an intermediate, you should try to get the 65s for 10 reps. I'd say these are best done with a twisting form, similar to an Arnold press. So you're going to start with the dumbbell perpendicular to the body, like here, with a neutral grip. And then you want to press and twist, so at the end, you're neutral. I guess, I don't want to lean back. You want to be more like this. So down to neutral, up and pronate. Just like that. That's going to just give you a really good shoulder pump. At least for me, that's the natural way my shoulder moves. If that doesn't feel natural to you, try something else. I'm just, give you guys tips based off my experience. And once again, make sure you're lowering down to the shoulder and you're pressing it all the way up to lockout. Half reps, it makes you look like you're doing a lot of work, but in reality, you're just screwing yourself over because you're going to build up strength in only certain parts of the range of motion. Say, if you're just going like this, say you bring it down a little bit too low or you bring it up a little too much, you're going to be putting stress on certain joints that aren't used to that kind of stress, and it can lead to injury. Okay, so last but not least is the Pendley Row. I'd say a novice should shoot for 140 pounds for 10, and intermediate should shoot for 195 pounds for 10. You want to make sure to keep these strict. Cheating is going to change the strength curve in a way that makes you have to use a lot more weight, and it's going to zap your recovery while providing a crappy SFR. let's see here. I do around 205 for 10 to 12 reps on the strict row right now. I haven't done cheat rows in a while, but back when I was a lot weaker, I was doing cheat rows with like 235. So I could imagine I could probably be up in the 300 range with cheat rows now. So it's just a lot more weight, especially on a row. 100 pounds plus or minus, it makes a big difference on the barbell row. So a better solution here is going to be to do your rows strict and also do good mornings as a combo. I do my good mornings first and then I row after. The good mornings is going to work that hinging that occurs during the cheat row. So instead of combining them and doing it as a cheat row, you're separating it into two separate exercises. That's going to let you get in more volume and more stimulus while keeping your fatigue down. And that's all I got to say. This was pretty quick. I could have answered it a lot quicker, but I kind of wanted to explain a few things just because I feel like they're not talked about enough. And a lot of people are doing these things wrong and getting hurt. So if I could prevent that, that'd be awesome. If you have any questions you would like answered, make sure to leave them down below. Make sure to subscribe to my channel too if you want to see more good content like this. Have a nice day.